Hello everyone, and in this video we're going to be discussing slope. It's a very, very big concept in algebra and later math classes, so we need to get really good at it really quick. So slope is represented by the letter M, and it shows up when you're graphing lines. So slope really represents the change, like when you change your x and your y values, how fast are you going? Really, that's how we'll describe it, as what happens when you change x and y. In later math classes, it might be described as a rate, but right now we will not describe it like that. So yeah, here's the definition of slope. Slope is rise over run. That's commonly how it might be said. Which is delta y over delta x, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, many of you have not seen symbols like delta y. This is the symbol delta. It means change. So the change in y, it means we're going to take two y values and subtract them, okay? And y2 and y1 are just y coordinates. That's what they are. They're points. So coordinates are in the form x comma y. Those are the y values. And then x2 minus x1, they are the x values. It's just these subscripts are just a way to, so like this is a subscript. They're just a way to represent when you're using the same variable y, it's just a way to distinguish them. But y1 and y2 are two different things, but the subscript is used to distinguish the two variables. They are two different variables, so let's look at some examples here. Find the slope between the points -1, 3 and 5, 13. So the formula for slope is delta y over delta x. That's how I draw my y's. I'll kind of curl them like that. This equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The biggest mistake when kids do slope is they might do x over y. That's wrong. It's y over x. They also might not group the points correctly. What I mean by that is, if I solve this problem real quick, I'm going to do 13. Okay, that's the first y value, minus 3 over 5 minus a -1. You have to minus the -1 because that's what the formula is. You have to subtract that -1. That equals 10 over 5 plus 1, 6. That equals 5/3. And that's m. That's the slope. A common mistake kids will make is, they'll just put the coordinates in whatever order they want. So, for example, they might do, I'll just draw up here to demonstrate that. They will do 13 minus 3, and then they'll do -1 minus 5. That's wrong, okay? The points that are just above and below each other, they should match their coordinates, okay? So those don't match. So this 5 and 13 should be of the same coordinate. So there's a 5 and a 13 in, let me highlight that, this coordinate. And then same for this 3 and this -1. Those should match, okay? The numbers that are below and above each other, those should be of the same coordinate, okay? So what I have, I'm going to highlight it in blue. What I have in blue is wrong, okay? Because you can't do 13 minus 3 and then divide by -1, because your points have to be in order, if that makes sense. That's a good way I like to memorize it. So these 2 points should be the same coordinate, and then these 2 points, or these 2 numbers should be of the same coordinate. So the slope for that one is 5/3. So when you're interpreting slope, I like to interpret it as for every, so in this case it's 5/3. So this was your y over x. This was your delta y over your delta x. That means for every 3 units of x I move, that means we're going to move up 5 units for y. Okay, so if I draw a little graph right here, let's say we're at 0, 0. So that means if I move 3, oh, I don't know what happened there. If I move 3 to the right, so I'm at x equals 3, that means another point will lie up here at 5, okay? That's how you interpret slope. So if you start at a point, you're going to move 3 to the right and 5 up, okay, because it's your change in y over change in x. Okay, the next problem. -3, -4, and 0 and 5. Okay. So we're going to use our delta y over delta x. That's slope. We're going to do 5. Now, what you can do is you can switch these other points around. 5 minus 0 over, what is that? -4. Or wait, no, I am doing this wrong. Now I'm doing it wrong. Minus -4 over, it would be 0 minus -3. What you can do, what you're allowed to do, is you can flip the order of the numbers in the numerator and the denominator. This could be -4 minus 5 over -3 minus 0. You can do that. That's allowed to happen. What you can't do is just switch one individual order like I showed at the top. The numbers on the top and bottom still have to match. They still have to be the same coordinate. But this is a valid. You can switch the two numbers in the numerator and the denominator. You have to do both. You can't just do whatever order you want. So that's -9 over -3. And then a negative number divided by a negative number is a positive number. That's 3. That equals m. The way you would interpret this is that's technically a 3 divided by 1. So that means for every x value I move to the right, I will go up 3 for the y value. And that's an idea we'll explore when we actually graph some equations, when we graph some lines, but we won't do that today. Now we look at the last problem. It's going to be 4, because that's the y value, 4 minus -4 over 0 minus 7. That equals 8, because it's 4 plus 4, over -7. And then we usually like to write the negative on the top like this. -8 over 7, or just -8/7. And that's our slope. Okay. Now, the way you interpret negative slopes is you move the opposite direction. So instead of going up 8, we're going to go down 8. So I'm going to make a graph here. If I start at 0, 0, 0, 0 is an easy point because it's easy to work with. That means if I move 7 units on the x-axis, I'm going to go down 8 units on the y-axis. I'm going to go down 8. So when it's negative, you move left or down because you're going in the other direction. If it's positive, you move up or right, okay? Because those are also the positive directions. And these are ideas that we will explore later when we graph lines. But now you should just be familiar with what the symbols mean and how to interpret slope and how to find slope. All right, and this is the end of the video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thank you.